Hey, it's Julie from StoryADay, and I might be making myself a little unpopular today with today's topic because I kind of want to talk to you about the fact that there is quite a lot we can control about our time to write, but some of it involves making decisions and being the bad guy a little bit. So there are things you can't control, like your work schedule is probably not your own. There are things that other people need you to do, but there are certain things that you can control, like household tasks. If you have little kids, now is a great time to start teaching them some independence. For example, when my kids were little, I put plastic cups on a low shelf and let them help themselves to water while I was trying to get stuff done. It meant that I wasn't constantly answering cries for, I want a drink, mommy. But I also had to be okay with the fact that I might get water spilled all over a lot of stuff in my house because they weren't using sippy cups anymore. So I was okay with that. If your kids are bigger, now is a great time to start teaching them some life skills. They can be loading the dishwasher while you sneak off to write, and they might not do it to your standards, but they can do it again. And they do need to learn these skills. So actually, you're doing them a favor by not doing everything for you. Are you still doing your spouse's laundry or making their lunch for them? Why are you doing that? They're a grown up. You could be taking that time to go and write. And yes, you will have to say, the rules have changed, folks, but I need some time to do my thing. And you guys have to be a little more responsible. You can be nice about it if you want to, but you don't have to be. Is your spouse, are you still doing all of the cooking in your house? Well, maybe there's somebody else around who can do that. If you're living alone, maybe you can batch cook and dinner won't be as exciting. But hey, and maybe you can live with a few pre-made or ordered in meals, and yeah, it won't be the best, healthiest food you've ever had, but from time to time, you need a break. Are you really the only person who can drive your kids or their grandparents to appointments? Or is there someone else you could swap that task out for a while? It's not forever. And that's the second thing I want to talk about. Writing intensely like this is seasonal. If intense writing jags are always balanced out by times when you need to refill the well and you can get back to doing all the normal things. Or if you are a published writer, there are going to be seasons before and after a book launch, for example, where 95% of your time is going to be spent on the business stuff. So these writing jags come in ebbs and flows. So your need to pull away from the household tasks will be seasonal. Another question I have to ask you is, how are you spending the time that you have that is free? You may not feel like you have a lot of free time, but if you track it, are you eating lunch with other people who are talking about reality shows and you really couldn't care less about that? Are you religiously working out on certain days or going for 10-mile runs because you're training, not because you're training for a marathon, but just because? Do you need to do that stuff? Or is it for a little while something that you can cut back on in order to do the thing which you keep saying you want to do, which is writing? Do you need to end your evening watching the same episodes of Seinfeld and Friends over and over again for the 7th, 8th, 9th times? Yes, you deserve your relaxation time, but that kind of passive relaxation is not actually as recharging as we sometimes think it is. Sitting down and working on your writing, which can be exhausting, is generates a kind of energy. It's actually exhilarating in a way as well. So take a look at your habits and really be honest with yourself about whether you have some things in your control that you are not being as honest with. And the final thing I want to say about things that are within your control, your expectations. Be realistic with yourself about how long it takes you to write a particular number of words. And when I say write, I also include research, daydream, brainstorm, revise, research markets that you might send it to. All of these things are part of the writing process, even though they don't involve putting new words on a page. So you want to be realistic with yourself about how much you can get done in how much time. And that's you taking charge of your time, which only you can do. And then I said that was my final thing, but my final thing actually is you have to do this. You want to write. I get in trouble sometimes for being too nice to writers, but this time I'm going to tell you, you have to create time in your schedule to write, because otherwise you're going to regret it. You're going to live a life where you always wonder what you could have done if you had just. And sometimes people will supply words like being more disciplined or being more motivated, but I think being more honest with yourself about what you want and what you're getting out of all the activities that you are cramming into your life or allowing other people to cram into your lives. You need to negotiate some time for yourself, because if you're not writing now, you're not going to have the energy or the skills to write at some future date, when you're retired, when your kids move out, when. You're just not. You have to start now, because you're not standing still. You're falling behind. There are some sacrifices that you can make that are in your control that will not be only sacrifices. They will be rewards as well. Gather your courage. Tell people what you're doing. Prioritize your writing. Give yourself permission. Negotiate if you have to, but take that time and don't fall behind. Don't live a life filled with regret. You know you're a writer. You know you should be writing. I know you don't have an awful lot of time, but you do have some control over some of your time. Now, if you want an excuse to put some writing time on your calendar, join me for the StoryADay May challenge. It's coming up, and you can sign up at storyaday.org/sign up. And it won't just be random writing. There will be guided writing prompts and lessons to make sure that you are making progress in your writing. You can feel your skills getting better. You can feel your habits becoming more solid, and you'll be doing it in the company of a really great community of writers. So sign up, storyaday.org/sign up, and I'll see you there.